Hey everyone, Rob Folia Properties at Keller Williams Realty here in Nashville. And this video is for my real estate agent friends around the country. I wanted to record this because I just got done recording my database video that I send out every month to my clients, my friends, my sphere of influence, where I look at market stats. It's the first of the month, and so I'll pull up the stats in our MLS for last month. We'll look at trends. We'll see what's happening in the market. And I saw something that was very much playing into what a narrative that I'm seeing on social media from my real estate agent friends. A lot of my friends out there are hinting at, because in real estate, I know we want to look good and be right all the time, right? And so a lot of my friends are hinting at the market being slower, and and that's we're experiencing that. I think everybody in real estate is experiencing that right now. And yet I'm seeing some alarming trends, things like depending on the county, inventory levels are, like new listings are down 30 to 40% year over year, July of this year compared to last year. I mean, that's a huge drop. And that's something that's kind of like what I consider an indicator for the latter half of the year and what's going to happen here at the end of 23 and into 24, unless something really changes in our economy. And so my reason for bringing this up and for doing this video is I want to encourage all my agent friends to take advantage of what I'm calling my free time. Meaning, there are a lot of gurus, a lot of coaches, a lot of CEOs, a lot of team leaders, whatever, that are going to say that, you just need to double down, you need to take territory, you need to do all that BS because they're concerned about their bottom line. They want you to continue to grow your real estate team so that you can go hire people and bring them into your office and help their bottom line. I get it. And I'm not trying to tell you to not do that if you want to do that. Like if you want to do it, man, you live your life and enjoy it. But I learned a lesson about three and a half years ago almost now, which is crazy to think that it's been almost 3.5 years since the COVID-19 pandemic, started to get into full swing. And I remember hearing this. I remember it was like March 15th. For some reason, that date is staying in my head. Maybe because March 15th is my anniversary. I'm not sure. However, that date stays in my head as like a day that everything just kind of shut down in our world where, everybody had to start working from home and offices were closing, businesses were closing. And all of these coaches were saying, you need to make these care calls. You need to call everybody. Everybody wants to hear from you. And well, yeah, some people wanted to hear from you. It was a scary time for a lot of people in our world. The reality is people didn't want to transact real estate from like March 15th to like May 15th. They just didn't want to. There was so much uncertainty out there in this world that they didn't want to do it. It's reminiscent of what we're going through right now. The reality is prices are up, which causes less people to be able to afford to buy. Interest rates are more than double what a lot of people have. Like I know right now it's more than double what I have in my home. So why would I move? Why would I trade my 3% rate for a 7% rate? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And so the reality is people don't those extra moves that people don't want to do, they're not doing. And that's okay. My point being is that was a lesson I learned during the pandemic was I was spinning my wheels, just trying for trying's sake because these coaches, these gurus were telling me to do it, and I was in a scarcity mindset. The reality is there's more than enough business out there for you. And if you can take advantage of that free time to pour into your passions. But what I want to get into is 3 ways that I've written down to survive what I'm calling a desert market, meaning it's a market, it's a slower market. It's not a bad market for sellers, and it's really not a bad market for home buyers if they can afford it. Um, but it's a market where there's just less inventory, and that change isn't on the horizon. At least not this year. I don't see it. Maybe in 24, maybe in 25, but not in 2023. So to me, it's a desert market. So here are 3 ways to survive this desert market for real estate agents. These are things I'm doing in my business and in my life, and I want to encourage y'all to do the same. First thing, and probably the most important thing, is cut every expense inside of your business that's not oxygen. And so what I mean by that is, obviously we need oxygen to breathe, and there are things inside of your business that you probably need to keep it sustaining. Things like your database, right? If you're going to make phone calls and send text messages, you need your cell phone, so you can't cut that. But at the same time, there's probably a lot of fluff in there that you don't need. Maybe you don't need that $1,000 or $2,000 a month CRM. Maybe you can get by with the CRM that your brokerage provides. I know I do. And that saves me a ton of money every single month. cut every expense that's not oxygen. And why this matters, I won't give the name, but a buddy of mine posted something on social media where he was kind of documenting his sales trends over the last few years. And he was showing how, in I don't remember the exact years and numbers, but long story short, he was basically saying how last year he sold like $20 million in real estate. And while I don't know this person's GCI, I'll just guess that maybe his GCI was somewhere around $500,000. That's a good business, $500,000 in GCI. And he was closing out this video, kind of poking fun at himself, self-deprecating humor. I get that, and I love that about this person. He was basically saying how this year was going to be a down year for him, and I get that. It's probably going to be a down year for most real estate agents out there, just based on the numbers. And yet, if just say his business went from 500,000 in GCI last year to a 250,000 this year, say it got cut in half. That's a pretty substantial drop, half of the income, right? So say it's $250,000 in GCI. If this person has a ton of expenses, and say this person, when they were making 500,000, has $250,000 in expenses, man, that's a lean business now. Now all of a sudden you don't have any profit. Why are you doing it? But if this person's able to cut all their expenses, or at least the ones that aren't oxygen, then all of a sudden it can be a business that makes sense to be running. And so my point being, just cut every expense that you have inside of your business that you don't need to survive. There's going to be a lot of them that you don't need to have. Just cut them. I mean, just do it. You might have to make some decisions you don't want to make, and yet just do it. Number two. So again, first one, cut every expense that's not oxygen. Number two, take the time to help others. I know this might be kind of a goodwill put out there in the universe type of thing, but I want to encourage everyone to take the time to help others. I'll give two quick examples. One, I had a friend from around the country call because she had a question about something that I've done inside the business in the past, and I wanted to know how I, as a solo agent, or at the time it was me and an admin, how we did this when it's being taught in this class that you got to have a team and have all these people answering the phone. It was, long story short, it was a reverse bold 100. And so I went through what that looked like, because in reality, we sometimes tend to overcomplicate some things. And I spent about 30 minutes trying to help this person go through and how they can successfully do a reverse bold 100 and have 100 people call them in a 4 or 5 hour block, and how they can be successful with that. I didn't do it expecting to get a referral from that person. While I'd love to get a referral here in the Nashville area from her or from anybody watching this video, obviously, the reality is I didn't do that to get a referral. I'm not doing this video to get a referral. I'm doing this video to put goodwill out there into the universe, because we know that in real estate agents, we need it. There's way too many people who are just trying to take advantage of us and sell us this system, sell us $1,000 a month coaching program so you can build a business that you don't want to actually build. And so, just take the time to help others. And the second example of this I wanted to give was a past client of mine got into the business. I didn't know it. She got into the business about 2 or 3 weeks ago. She got her real estate license, signed up with Keller Williams. I wish I would have been her sponsor, but hey, maybe I should have kept in better contact with her. But she called me because she was like, "Hey, I'm a couple weeks in. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing." And I was more than happy to spend 30 or 40 minutes on the phone with her and just kind of walk through what things looked like for me at the beginning of my time, ways that she can plug into Keller Williams and just to get that assistance she's looking for. And that goodwill helps. I know I felt energized after both those conversations that I just mentioned. So take the time to help others, because it's going to help you with your energy. It's going to help you just put goodwill out there. So the three ways to survive the desert market: cut every expense, take the time to help others, and then the third way, stop comparing yourself with others. Only compare yourself to yourself. I know it's easier said than done, especially in a social media world where everybody on Facebook wants to post about that new car they've got, or that new widget they bought, whatever it might be. They want to post the successes. They don't post the struggles. The closest they get to that is the self-deprecating humor that I mentioned my friend posting about how it's a down year. Like no real estate agent out there is posting on social media that, man, my business is down, X amount of dollars this year. Because again, everybody wants to look good and be right. My reason for sharing, for saying that, is just, it's so easy to compare ourselves with others because we hear about somebody else doing X, Y, and Z. That person who might be posting about having a $5 million sales month. and maybe you're watching this email and you haven't even done 5 million in a year, which is okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Remember that a $5 million sales month for that person who posted that might be a down month for them, but they're trying to put good out there and get their energy up by saying those things. You got to stop comparing yourself with them. You only compare yourself to yourself because maybe you're having a great year. Even if your year's not as great as that number one agent in the office, like that's okay. Only compare yourself with yourself. Only measure yourself with the person you want to become, and keep striving for that. So again, the three ways to survive this desert market: cut every expense that's not oxygen, take the time to help others, and then three, only compare yourself to yourself. And guys, doing this and combining it with that pandemic lesson that I learned, it just gives you more free time to pour into your passions. Because if you've got less time that you're focused on real estate, that you're showing houses, because there's fewer buyers and fewer homes out there for sale too, by the way. And if you've got fewer listings to service, because there's fewer homes out there for sale, you have more free time. You have more free time to pour into passions. Maybe you've got that novel that's been in your heart and in your mind for the forever that you want to get out there. Write it. Maybe you want to have a weekly daddy daughter day and keep your daughter out of daycare once a week and spend time with her. Do it. Like you have the free time right now to do it. Who knows what 2024 is going to be? Maybe all of a sudden interest rates drop again into the threes or the fours or the fives, or they just get better than they are right now, and then all of a sudden we start seeing activity pick up. Because that, to me, that's the next thing that's going to help spark it is interest rates. If they get back down to something that makes homes affordable again for the average household, then that might be in 2024. Who knows? It could be in 3 months. The rates may somehow just tailspin and be 3% again in October. And if that's the case, then you might not have the time to do that weekly daddy daughter day, or that write that novel, or work on some music, or whatever it might be. And so take that free time that you've got right now and take advantage of it. Don't just spin your wheels and make these care calls that everybody says you got to make, and double down on your efforts and take territory and all that BS, because you just don't need to. Keep doing what you're doing and it's going to come around. And remember, this is your job. I mean, yes, for some of y'all this is your passion. You're watching this and you're like, my purpose in life is to sell homes. And if that's you, awesome. I'm happy for you. However, for the majority of people watching this video, and I can get into studies how I can tell you that's the case, but for the majority of people watching this video, this is your job. Take pride in it, do your best, and yet at the same time, remember it's your job. And when all is said and done, when people get to the end of the line, nobody says, I wish I worked longer at my job. They say, I wish I had spent more time working on my passions and the things that I care about. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. Take those those three ways to survive the desert market that we talked about. Take that pandemic lesson that I mentioned, combine it all, have a fantastic rest of your year. I know we're getting close to almost business planning for next year as well. That's how quickly this year is flying by. And as always, if y'all need anything, even if it's just an ear to talk to, give me a shout. Happy to help y'all. I'll cut it off here, but appreciate y'all checking this video out. We'll talk soon. Thanks, y'all.